Friday at 7 o'clock, we'll go ahead and call our town hall meeting to order. This is our first town hall meeting since COVID and first time to everybody, our first live one. Appreciate everybody coming out tonight. We'll also be hosting this virtually through our virtual platform. So today is Tuesday, June 23rd. With everything occupancy in this room, 50 people. If you are joining us virtually, hopefully you're joining us through your computer or smart device. To participate, we ask that you comment or ask a question during the public comment portion of the meeting. Please use the raise hand feature in Zoom. From a computer, click on participants. At the bottom of the screen, then click on raise hand. From your mobile device, just tap the raise hand button at the bottom of the screen. Thank you so much. Our format tonight will be, we'll go through, talk about the Malcom Bridge road improvements, and then we'll open up any questions or comments you got on that subject, and then if you have anything else you'd like to talk about, I'm more than happy to address that as well. All right, so our overall goals countywide are to increase safety and functionality of all our roadways, and also to prepare for future demands on the roadways, and also have engineered solutions to remove humans from the roadway. So we've done a lot of work on this so far in our term. If you look at Malcom Bridge at Mars Hill Road, our first roundabout in the county has been very successful. Virgil Langford, Mars Hill, at Rocky Branch, the new traffic signals there. Rocky Branch at Malcom Bridge, we did that during our first term as well with the three-way stop to slow traffic down and make that a little more negotiable. Osborne Road up on Highway 53 was a very skewed intersection, and that's been straightened up to get better vision for folks coming out. Also, a few of the other things we're working on in that area. Snows Mill, Rocky Branch at Highway 53. Also, Malcom Bridge Road at Race Church Road at 53. We're working with the Department of Transportation in order to get some very much needed intersection improvements there. We're actually out to bid right now on engineering. We also are requesting the Department of Transportation to look at Union Church at Highway 53 for a traffic signal. Previous times, those have not met warrants, and so we're hoping we got enough warrants to get us a light there at this time. And also, the 10 loop at the Oconee connector and 316 there at Waffle House is a hot spot for accidents. And we're trying to got engineering looking at some options there, and hopefully partner with the Department of Transportation with quick response money to fix that road as well. Engineering solutions for remove humans from the roadway. We've already accomplished this in front of Oconee County Middle School. We used to have a deputy station there. That deputy has been removed, widening Mars Hill Road. So improvements on Malcom Bridge Road, we need to increase the safety, improve traffic flow, and also for future demand. These pictures I'm about to show you were not taken by any Oconee County staff. It was taken by a local homeowner. These were taken in September 2018 when the rezone came up, rezone modification came up at the shopping center. These pictures were taken as an exhibit for opposition to the rezone. All right, you can see the lack of on-site storage causes travel lane to be blocked. Also, the cars that are trying to turn left into the school, for anybody coming out of the school to turn left, there's no vision, which is one reason the deputy has to be there. You can't see the traffic coming to the travel lane. Notice toward the end of that line, you'll see a car coming into the oncoming travel lane to get around the traffic stopped. Right now, this stacking into the roadway is not viewed as an issue. So we have no plans to improve internal storage at the school. So here's with the lane stopped. You see, you can't even see the deputy because visibility is blocked by the other vehicle. There's been some questions about emergency response to the school with the new RCOT modification that we've shown you. We believe this is a much worse situation for emergency response. Both travel lanes are blocked, and just imagine getting a fire truck or an ambulance through that stuff right there. Not to mention there's a human somewhere in the midst of all those vehicles. So that's whether it's 100+ real feel in August, whether it's a cold, rainy, dark January morning, somebody standing in that roadway to direct traffic. So that's your current conditions. Just looking at the school, it's already a crowded school and it's going to continue to grow. You can have upwards. I think the top number that was mentioned, one of the Board of Education members, was up to 60 kids per year. This will likely continue for 3 to 5 years. This map, I know you can't read it. We'll put this up on the website so you can kind of zoom in. This just kind of shows some of the activity that's happening around the school system. So basically, there's 2 subdivisions, one right there on Malcom Bridge and then one on Rocky Branch that account for 180 lots not started construction. And that's just on Malcom Bridge. Also, the comp plan will support additional residential developments along Malcom Bridge as well. That's 93 lots. That's 84 lots that not started construction. You look at these bigger lots here with no hash, they've not been rezoned or intended to be rezoned. Not saying that they will. Potential is there, and the comp plan would support additional. Then we'll just talk about the commercial. That section right there on Malcom Bridge Road is a 120,000 square foot commercial development. That was zoned, can't read it right now. That was zoned in 93, I believe. Also, right there, right next to the school system property, the 64,000 square foot office development that was zoned in the early 2000s as well, that has not started construction. There, which is the development that we were kind of initiated us looking at this corridor, is a 75,240 square foot retail development. Also, the 2 pieces of property right next to it are part of Triple Creek. They're also zoned B1, and we expect activity to pick up on those 2 lots very soon. So in September 2018, a developer came and requested a modification to a rezone that was zoned in 2007. So he wanted to make modifications, so our Unified Development Code forces if you're making significant changes, forces you to come back to the Board of Commissioners, which opened up the opportunity to take a look at this corridor for a long-term approach. So they did get the conversation started about what. Also in September 2018, we started discussions on the roadway improvements with the Board of Education. During the rezone process, the Sheriff's Office voiced some concerns for the safety of the deputy. There will be another exit from the property right in front of the school, which would increase the points of conflict and put the deputy. You have to have a swivel on his head for sure for areas to watch. In addition, I think there's 2,840 average daily trips will be added once the shopping center is complete. We also had a lot of outcry from local homeowners with concerns about the traffic and the congestion during school time, which is why those pictures were taken. In May of 2019, we learned that right-of-way was not available from the Board of Education. Also, I think it was later in September, the Board of Education's desire for a turn lane solution, and also a desire not to change the on-site conditions communicated. Our desire at the intersection improvements that we've kept moving forward was to remove deputies from the roadway to meet or exceed the current level of service for the intersection. Don't have to tell anybody in this room what it looks like on roundabouts and how effective they are. It's just a slide to kind of remind you what they do. So this is the current proposal. This is a good proposal. This requires no action from the Board of Education. It has same number of right-of-way staging for vehicles as exists now on Malcom Bridge Road. Deputy is removed from the intersection, and intersection conflicts are reduced, which increases safety. A lot of times safety does not always for efficiency, but it will be safer conditions than it is there today. This is a better option. This will require the Board of Education to donate right-of-way, provide a construction easement, and correct some or move some on-site drainage facilities in order to allow this plan to work. This actually increases storage in the right-of-way. Deputy is removed. Intersection conflicts continue to be reduced. Also, we believe this will allow the travel lanes to remain open at all times for emergency response. So you have safety with better, but it's still less efficiency for somebody dropping off at post. This is the best option. This was drawing done originally for the intersection. This would require right-of-way donation from the Board of Education, probably remove the sign. They would have to adjust on-site conditions for adequate storage of vehicles based on the Oconee County standard for car riders. Also would have to have a construction easement. So this is Roundabout. We feel like that's the safest option and the most efficient option. Intersection. Deputy is removed. Also, there's no U-turn condition. We're hearing a lot of concerns about, and it gives you the greatest safety and efficiency of the intersection. This simply shows the current on-site staging. There's basically 78 cars that can fit in Malcom Bridge Middle School property properly. And the reason we had to stop going forward with the roundabout is without modification here, these cars would still continue from the picture you saw earlier to clog up the roundabout. So it basically brings us to a complete failure of the intersection. People stopping the roundabout, and there's just no way for them to go onto the route. 78 cars can currently stack off on site. Here's an option that we're just throwing out there for some ideas. We're not familiar with all the stuff that the school board has to deal with inside the school property. But based on some of the stuff we're hearing, we felt like we had to throw out some ideas for them to look at. This increases on-site storage by 22 vehicles. This can be done right now with a very small investment. It also maintains a single lane for loading, which is a safety concern for the Board of Education, and we agree with that. Loading should be done in a single lane situation. Jefferson City Schools uses a similar setup with multiple lanes for staging. We don't have a picture of it because they kind of modify the current parking lots and kind of shifts depending on the time of day how they use that area of the parking lot. Now this is by adding an additional stacking lane. You can add 54 more vehicles outside the right-of-way. This will allow the roundabout to work, and it would also allow the arc cuts to work better if arc cuts were the final decision. This option is showing turning all the lanes coming from Malcom Bridge Road one way into the site, and then that one to exit back through the the bus staff entrance on the roundabout that's under construction currently. This also increases 55 vehicles on-site storage. This would be a little cheaper than the other one because you're adding less than your feet of lanes. Roundabout would work with this as well as the arc cuts would work a lot better. Additional staff. So here's an existing school. This is West Jackson Middle School. They show the additional storage lane that's outside the normal driveway. This is on Gum Springs Road. This is actually a high school, so this is Walnut Grove High School. It has a roundabout at the parent main entrance to the school. I've been through that intersection. Works very well. So really, I guess what we're trying to communicate is that based on all the things that are fixing to happen, we're just looking at Malcom Bridge Road proper, not everything that's within the 1.5 mile circle that we have created on the first map we showed you. Doing nothing is not an option. We're open to any additional ideas that anybody from the public might have for us. We'll take a hard look at any ideas you got. Our cuts are not our preferred option, but it's kind of where we are right now based on the existing conditions. It's going to take a parent input to the Board of Education to get the better, best option. It's not just going to be 20 or 30 people having that kind of communication. So we need your help to do any more than what the current proposal has out there. You have a couple people submit some comments prior to the meeting. Casey and Will both sent in a sheet. I think we've addressed most of the comments they had with the presentation. There was a concern about dramatic increase in U-turns on traffic on 78. I really didn't follow that logic on why that would be happening, why anybody would try to do a U-turn on 78 versus doing the controlled U-turn on Malcom Bridge Road, where you have one lane of traffic to deal with and no other movements. Our cuts are different than your typical U-turns that everybody used to do at an intersection. If you're doing that at an intersection, you have all the cross traffic, huge number of points of conflict. With our cut, you're doing the U-turn, you're only worried about your approaching traffic. You don't have to worry about anybody crossing the intersection from the other side. So you're concentrating on only one travel direction. If you go down Mars Hill Road, you'll see that in action. We had a lot of concerns with the design of Mars Hill Road when it was expanded. A lot of subdivisions are only right in, right out now. You have to go down to an arc cut and turn back around. The road is working very, very well. Everybody who contacted me with concerns contacted me since saying I think the road is working very well. Again, it's been brought up, Will brings up again about emergency response. I still say having the roadway clogged vehicle is going to impede emergency response worse than having hard cut. There's a suggestion that all our sheriff's deputies will be on 316, and the majority of them, they operate in zones, and if something happens, they're going to be coming from all directions. Also, the closest fire department and ambulance is located at Burger Langford Road near Jimmy Daniel Road. So all those units will come down, go through the freeway stop, and then go up to go right into either school should a problem occur. With that, we'll anybody just come up to the microphone and just state your name and address for the record, and answer the question.
Jeff Hood, 1031 Julian Court, Watkinsville. And thank you so much for in person. It kind of feels normal. There's a handful of us here that are here at OVP tonight. And thank you for your service. And we're thinking of Chuck Horton, who I believe had an illness, surgery.
Yes, sir.
And then, of course, Mr. Wilkes that passed away. So with that being said, I have a few questions, but I'll just one in case anybody else wants to jump in after my first one, and that is with the roundabouts. Can you showed some proposals you mentioned about the board making a donation for some of the property. Can you kind of just give us a quick overview of what is going on currently? Because we know there's construction in front of the schools on Malcom Bridge. What that, at least for now, end result will be, will it be done before school starts, supposed to be August 5th? And then kind of tie what we'll see then into these proposals that you talked about.
Okay, so this is roundabout that's currently under construction, and it's going to be done before the start of school, or before the scheduled start of school. They're actually a little bit ahead of schedule. Every time I say that, we'll get through 3 weeks of rain, but they're moving very, very well. Utility relocation, I think, is complete from everybody, so hopefully they'll be laying some asphalt in the next week or two. So that will be done by the start of school, if it starts in August as scheduled. So this is kind of how it will look. So this is the current proposal based on no activity from Board of Education. At the roundabout, this will become a right in, right out only. So if you're coming from Mars Hill Road, you have to come down, enter this turn lane, and circle back around to go into the school and come out. Same would happen down at the elementary school.
Follow-up would be, you had mentioned if the school board wants to donate land, and then you also mentioned later in the conversation about parents need to be involved. So has the board had discussions with the Board of Education as far as land donation? And maybe specifically, what should the parents do if the folks that have seen this presentation like some of those proposals?
Yes, we have had discussions. That started back in September 2018 during the rezone. It was later in 2019. I think it was May of 2019 is when we learned that no right of way would be available. So really, it's just communicating with Board of Education members, saying, look, we understand. You know, their goal right now is to keep a deputy out there directing traffic, or somebody, whether it's their own private contractor or whatever. They'd like having somebody out there. Just feel that's not efficient, not safe, and it doesn't address all these other things that are going to be happening on that corridor for sure. But even if you fix it for the 15 minutes in the morning and 15 in the afternoon, for 180 days a year, it doesn't help the rest of the people that have to travel that roadway. We're looking at a wider scope what they have.
So things have been fast and furious in Athens with their commission past 3 months. And what I wanted to, maybe if each of you would kind of give your take on something that's been somewhat controversial, and that is a member of the commission earlier this month hosted a rally in Athens, and she drew a big crowd because it was marketed as a world without cops. And as insane as I think that is, and what we might see happen in Athens, and I guess we're seeing in Minneapolis, kind of unfold before our very eyes. I would just like to hear from you gentlemen, and this is on, and I know Scott Berry's not here and James Hill is not here, but because this commission funds the sheriff's department, actually the taxpayers, but through you gentlemen, I just wanted to get your take on a world without cops. I mean, what are your feelings? And I know you're speaking Oconee County, but this is a bordering county that this is happening in. What are your feelings on funding our sheriff's department and what's going on in Clark County? And again, only because it's a bordering county, and some of that stuff could spill over into our county.
Oh man. Well, as a former MP, I can't imagine a world without law enforcement. So, as far as defunding the police, hasn't crossed my mind at all for Oconee County. Whatever happens in other counties, I can't control what happens in other counties. But I don't think that defunding the police is the answer to either. So I don't support that cause at all about defunding the police. So there's a lot going on in the world that we definitely need to open our eyes to what's going on. But defunding the police is definitely not one of the options at the time.
I'm echo what Mark said. I don't support defunding the police either. And I do feel like that because the sheriff is the constitutional officer, he does have the right to set his own budget. We can't really dictate what his budget is because he is a constitutional officer. We do have, some privilege in some of the employee side of it, but as far as his overall budget, he sets that. Again, the constitutional officer, which gives the sheriff a lot of rights in that regard. And so as far as, moving forward with any of the, the movements that are going on everywhere, I mean, I know everybody's sensitive to all these type things, and I am too. I mean, certainly there's a lot of stuff going on that shouldn't be happening, but, here in Oconee County, I think we have so much community input, and I appreciate you coming up and talking about that. We're trying to all work together. I had a comment the other day from some citizen that was talking about the recent election and, some of the outcome of that. And I do feel like that, these department heads that are here tonight, Jody, got several of them around the room, that, it's a team effort of all of the county employees that we have, and plus all of the citizens and the community that we have. Everybody's working together. So, if there's an issue, we're going to all work on it together. It's not going to be an individual focus group or something like that.
No plans from where I sit to reduce funding. Law enforcement, we're a huge supporter in Oconee County. You can see it from the citizens every day. I know some of the deputies that came over from Park County and talk about how people come up and buy their lunch and they're sitting around and just totally amazed still today. That's the kind of atmosphere that we have. You look at the record of this Board of Commissioners. One of the first things we did was change the funding for some of the deputy pay. We saw we were a little low compared to some of the other counties. We fixed that in 2017. Also, we got some additional pay if they earn advanced certificates post. So we got a good partnership with the Sheriff's Office and expect that.
Sorry. Hi. Sorry, we have two devices, so we're getting feedback. I'm sorry. Thank you for taking my question. What would it take to do I appreciate that you guys gave a lot of options tonight. What would it take to do that lane that cut through I don't recall what you just called it. But it was like a stack lane. You showed another school that was doing it. Is that something that's actually doable? Where would the BOE give the rights to do that versus even though they wouldn't give the rights to do the roundabout in front of the middle school? I can't hear them.
You advance that.
Can't hear them.
Is this the one you're talking about?
Sorry, we're having technical difficulties.
All right, so basically what it's going to take is communication from the citizens about what you want to see happen. We have our preference, but we've done all we can do, and it's going to take parents and property owners along that corridor to encourage sport education to take a different stance. I don't know any other way to put it. that's really where we are, whether it's giving us a little bit of right of way so we can do 2 lanes, or whether it's let's go all out and do the best solution. It's just really kind of where we're at. So it's just communication with the Board of Education, right, as a citizen. Yes, somebody else?
Hey guys, it's Will. So what you were just talking about is Board of Education plans, where you need their land to make your plans come to life. And I really appreciate, like, all of your options were great because it gets cars out of the road. But what you just said is that the Board of Education is not being cooperative. So first of all, why would you present a bunch of plans that are as an uncooperative second party? And second of all, how in the world are our cuts going to keep cars out of the road? To me, it's just going to add more cars to the road because you're going to try to make a U-turn and you're going to have nobody there directing traffic or flow with the U-turn lane. And so everybody's going to go down Highway 78 to come through Linroo, which is going to jam up those neighborhoods. And so you're going to have 2 points of congestion now versus 1 when the Board of Education is going to provide traffic personnel. So I agree the whole mandate is to get cars out of the street. We need the BOE to be on board. So why don't we wait for the BOE to get on board before we make any decisions?
I guess that goes back to the whole first part of the presentation where we're showing you, 22,840 additional trips a day just by the shopping center that's under construction currently. And then with all the additional lots that are available, additional commercial property that's available. The catalyst that's going to be created by that currently under construction development is probably going to be pretty huge for that corridor. You're going to see a lot more activity, I believe, after that thing gets going. So that's the reason why. Why do we present different options? It's to kind of show you these are all options we've looked at and we've tried to sit down and come up with. So everybody's kind of beating us up for coming up with the R-cut condition. That wasn't our first choice. But as I said before, doing nothing is not an option. Just based on everything that's out there. Shalane?
Derek Lemons, 1030 Colorado Bend, and thanks for these options. The first thing that we presented with our cuts is begin looking as a group of parents about how those things work and we think it causes accidents. I've also met with a subsection of Board of Education. Well, and they seem to be willing to come to the table and kind of talk about it. They are very protective about keeping one lane going to dropping off students, that type of thing. So I think there is an opportunity here. Have you had any recent conversations with the Board of Education to come back together to the table to kind of figure things out? Because I think you are right. I mean, there is a better, the second car cut is better because it gives you some place to go, but I think still the roundabout is the best option.
Yeah, so we attempted to schedule a joint meeting at the end of May. Now COVID's happened, so there's been a lot of things going on. That didn't work out. I have been, Chairman Odom and I are supposed to get together sometime in July to try to figure out a meeting. Both boards coming together, however, that probably will not occur until January. So our goal is to try to get this intersection completed over the next summer break, just based on all the things that are popping along the corridor. And also, it makes a lot of difference in pricing for when you bid. Originally, the roundabout that's under construction now, I think, was going to be $800,000, close to $800,000. And we bid that at the same time we did the Malcom Bridge, RCO roundabout. We backed off of that, came back, and rebid it. It came out $564,000. So significant savings based on when you bid. So we believe that fall is the best time to bid for a summer project. Allows the contractors to get fired up, have their work laid out. So that's kind of where we're at. We'll meet tomorrow if everybody wants to get together. I think it's important to meet as a group, board to board, and have these conversations and have everybody there to kind of talk about. We're open to that kind of meeting.
Well, we parents do really appreciate you all pumping the brakes. So the first option that, I mean, y'all were within your rights to go ahead and do it. Spend all that money, and we're concerned, one of the goals is to get the deputies out the road, which most of us consider, that if we have an archive, especially with option A, but possibly with option B, all we're going to be doing is moving the deputy in the archive to be directing things. And I think we feel like if we have this roundabout and we still want a deputy out there, the school board still wants a deputy, the deputy could just be moved onto the property and kind of guiding people, and that's a much safer environment for the deputy, and we'll be able to make other functions. That's all I have. I appreciate y'all listening to us, and hopefully we can get you on the Board of Education together on the same page with this. I don't know, the expense part of this, is kind of thing. And that's the thing I don't know about. Everybody needs to cut back. All of a sudden, we're like, oh yeah, we want to spend all this money where we can get the roundabout and then figure this other second issue out. The money from the Davis bill, I think, a better option in the long run.
Yeah, we're talking about, this is a safety project basically, so I think the priority on safety allows runs the program. I guess the R-cut, having a deputy at the R-cut, what you are losing is all the other points of conflict with the intersection. So again, you're only concentrating on the traffic that's traveling directly towards you. So having a deputy there to stop traffic so you can move over, theory is that won't be necessary. Theories are always good. I can see how it works. The reduced number of conflict points, the deputy should not be required. Monitor the return.
Hey guys, looks like we got a small crowd. How many schools in the state of Georgia are restricted entry via left turn? And how we just built Dove Creek, right? And can you speak? I don't know if you can make a left turn in Dove Creek or not. Can you educate me on that?
Dove Creek does not have a left turn. All their access is off BM Osborne Road. You either turn right off of BM Osborne or across.
The main road does not have a left turn, or does have a left turn?
No, it's not a left turn. Left turn at Osborne Road from 53 on to Osborne Road, go down to BM Osborne. You do a right turn into the school for drop off, or a right turn out of the school.
And what about high school? Can I make a left turn to get into the high school?
There's no left turn available from going into right in. You can go straight across onto the dirt road. Don't make it. Can't go left. Go back down. As far as going into the school, you have to come in. So right. Come on.
Dr. Becker is at home and probably needs more content. I thought I'd ask another question. So you talked about roundabouts, and you mentioned some of the roads that are under engineering, I think closures maybe like Cold Springs. But I wanted to ask you about bridges, specifically on 316. It seems like every time I go toward Gwinnett, I'm seeing a new bridge go up in Barrow and Gwinnett. Can you tell us what we should see coming? Oconee Connector, I think, and maybe timelines?
Yeah, Oconee Connector's under construction now, I believe, or excuse me, under design right now. I think they're scheduled 2024 if it's still construction. So sometime in that time frame, you'll see dirt start moving at the connector. Also at May Courts, they just moved Jimmy Daniel Road overpass for interchange to the short range plan, so you should start seeing some activity that.
Can you specifically say what we're going to, a bridge or?
That'll be a full interchange as it's planned right now. Yeah. So it'll be a full interchange at Jimmy Daniel and also so on ramps, off ramps, bridge over traffic.
Okay. And, shift to a different topic, finances with COVID. Can you, the board, tell us how has that impacted our county? I guess specifically, have you seen a reduction in sales tax collected over the past few months?
Yes. So we're down approximately 10% for the last 2 months in a row. So overall for the year, I think we'll be down 4%. In addition to that, we're budgeting for a 5% drop over the next fiscal. Hopefully that doesn't occur, but we're being very conservative with that number. We were able to absorb whatever loss we had in local option. We're pretty conservative on budgeting anyway. Our department heads do a great job about spacing out their purchases. We have need to draw back, we do. Also, all in our budget that we'll vote on next week, we have about $500,000 worth of capital purchasing heavy equipment for road department as well as vehicles. All that will be on hold for 6 months. If we see our numbers are off, then we'll just remove that funding. That gives us $500,000 for cushion in addition to the 5% continued reduction level option. Very good.
Yeah, I'm just curious, because I'm again here on Google Maps, and it may be an old picture, but from Highway 53, there is a left turn lane into Duck Creek Elementary School.
You see that into the
Emergency response personnel would use to access the school, I would believe. And then Virgil Langford is the nearest fire department. They're going to be coming from the north, so they're going to have to come down Mars Hill to Malcom Bridge. And there's going to be an increase in safety response time no matter what time of the day it is. If we can get the cars off the road, we'll solve one problem, right? Because that'll get the cars off the road during drop-off and pickup in the morning and the afternoon. But during the day, they're still going to have to further drive distance-wise to get to the front door of their school. So I'm just kind of curious, how the Board of Education has any say in these plans, given the safety of the kids, and restricting a left turn into the school seems like, we're going to try to solve one safety problem and create an even worse hazard solution.
I guess, again, the left turn into Duff Creek is only for busing staff. Parent pickup cannot do a left turn Duff Creek Elementary. You have to go down Osborne Road and right on the Liam Osborne Road, right in, right or left out. you're not on it. Basically, being Osborne, it's just a long driveway for the school. There's one other house. Access is that. Very little traffic outside of the school. Our safety response, I'll just have to disagree with you on that. When the call goes out for help, our deputies, whatever support agencies show up, not have any trouble getting this. Our fire department knows our roads, our ambulance service knows our roads, and will respond accordingly and get to that facility as quickly as possible. I would still will argue that had not having the travel lane block traffic improves safety.
So can you update us on Mr. Horton when you expect him to be back? And also maybe, since it's the first time we've seen you in person, kind of tell us what Mr. Wilkes meant to the commission and his history here in this county, just briefly. And then also, does it put you guys in a bad spot? Only you're down 2 men currently. Talk about that, and I guess you have a quorum and all that, but so just kind of how things are now on the board itself, being down 2 people.
Yeah, I talked to Chuck twice today already. Matter of fact, he's doing well. He's got a long haul ahead of him for sure. There's no question. I'm not exactly sure. He knows when he's back, but he's going to get back as soon as he possibly can. There's no doubt about that. But he is doing good. There's no question that he's got follow-up doctor's appointments because it just happened last week where he had the surgery. But he, like I said, me and him were discussing some things today, so he's definitely active involved already. It's only been just a couple of days removed from the hospital. So, yeah, down, but like I said, staying active. And as far as Bubba, I mean, I grew up close to Bubba, and I lived on Flower Road for a few years. Wilkes family's dear and near to my heart. And when Bubba got back on commission, it was just a joy to have him beside me at all times, discussing things, whether it was the past or whether it was obviously business that we discussed a lot of. But Wilkes family has been synonymous for lots of things going on in Oconee County, so deeply missed for sure. We've got to move forward, but he will be missed here for a long time.
In terms of Commissioner Wilkes, I've had an opportunity to know him all my life. In fact, his grandfather cut hair down in our stores. That was kind of a neat thing too. And so our families go way, way, way back in the community, and we've had gatherings together over the years. We've gone on vacations together as a community. It's kind of a neat thing. Some of us, we called it lay-by time, but after the crops were being worked and we were kind of waiting on the fall harvest, we'd all go on vacation. Our peaches were finished at that point, and so it was just a time to go and, as a community, kind of get together. So we did that. I cherish those times that we had, and then, I do certainly miss him on the board. We have frank conversations about these issues, some of the things, some of the rezones that we kind of joke with him about. He was here when they approved some of those that we're now having some issues with. So we go back and rag him a little bit about that. But, we had a really great respect for him and all of his contributions that he had over the years, and certainly had a lot of fun with it as well.
It was just fun to be around wherever it was. If we had a disagreement, by the time we parted ways, we both smiled and had a good time. He was very instrumental in his first runs getting 911 service in Oconee County. It used to be you had to dial a lot of numbers. We do, as long as we have 3, we're able to conduct business. There's no room for sickness for the next few weeks.
And in the recent meetings, we really, we haven't had any absences. And I've been communicating with Commissioner Morton on via text and kind of watching that string of text, the group text that's keeping up to date. Been interesting to watch that as well, but it seems like he's well ahead of schedule from the standpoint of what he's been going through. So that's very encouraging as well.
It's a good example on taking care of yourself and get through that major surgery. Being as good a place as he is right now. Very good. I walk almost every morning, trying to get going, but can't keep up with Chuck yet. Anybody else online?
I think for the whole community, just certainly keep him in your prayers. He's certainly got a long way to go. Going through a lot of pain, and that's what it says.
Any questions, comments, or emotional outbursts? Hearing none, we are adjourned. Thank you very much.
Thank y'all.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, what's it going to take to get the DOE to give us the land to make these great plans that y'all have come to life?
It's just going to take communication from the citizens back to the board.
How can we communicate?
Yeah, what's the best way to do
How
that?
can we communicate with the BOE to help it? We're trying to help you guys help it all work out. Can we write letters or?
Yeah, you can send emails. Their phone numbers are listed on the website as well. I'm not sure they're in-person meetings yet. There's opportunity to speak at their meeting. Sign up.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
John, can you hear me?
Yes.
I submitted a question to you this afternoon. Did you see that?
No.
Okay, let me read it to you if I can. I sent it. I'm getting a lot of background. Can you hear me, John?
Yes.
I said, Watkins meeting. You've never explained why the county did not for the new administrative building and why it did not join with the owned by the school system for expansion of the library. So did the county try to purchase land around the current courthouse for expansion? Why was that? What was the outcome? And should I stop there? And then I had a couple other questions as well. I did identify myself. I'm sorry, Lee Becker.
I believe we were having some technical difficulties with that question. Would you mind repeating it?
Mr. John, can you see it on your email?
Yeah, I'm pulling it up now.
Okay, that's probably better because there's so much interference on the internet line.
We got it. Go ahead and mute that.
Watkins Mayor Bob Smith told you at a recent meeting with the mayors that he wants to keep the library administrative building in downtown Watkins. You have never explained why the county did not purchase land around the courthouse for the administrative building and why it did not join with the Board of Education for use of land owned by the school system of the county existing library for expansion of the library. Did the county try to purchase land amount around the current courthouse for expansion? So what was the outcome? Did you approach the Board of Education about joint development of the 6.7 acres beyond the library for library expansion and possibly a joint administrative building? If so, what was the outcome of those discussions? Mayor Smith also has mentioned plans for a joint development of land on Spruce Street at 3rd Avenue. Did you approach the Board of Education and the Cultural Arts Foundation about the possibility of jointly developing the area at the end of Spruce Street and 3rd Avenue to include county administrative building? If so, what was the outcome of those discussions?
Okay. So on the first one, did the county try to purchase land around the courthouse for expansion? We did take a look at the land around the courthouse on numerous occasions prior to be taking office as chairman in 2017. We actually brought in an outside group, went around and looked at several pieces of property. Got some prices on that, I believe. There was never an offer to purchase based on some of the results from that hard look that was taken at that time. But so there was no specific offer made for that property. Jason. We approached the Board of Education about joint development of 6.7 acres. Yes, did. We had several discussions about trying to do joint building, how that would be funding, what that would look like. Just never worked out any further in those discussions. If you're really talking about the plan of Watkinsville that was presented by Bob's son, we did take a hard look at that fairly recently. We did have conversations with OCAP. They were kind of in a management change at that point, changing the board. That also did not. In all three of those locations that you're talking about, really have issues with traffic, stuff around the courthouse. Creates a lot of traffic. That's a very small road, Water Street. We have expanded. Now that parking is going to be a huge issue. As we mentioned, the parking deck be over $3 million to put parking deck. The amount of parking is required to have everybody. The location we have picked out on 441 across from Fire Station 1 is really good access for all the citizens of the county. Butler's Crossing on the south end, and even from the city of Watkinsville folks. It's a pretty huge drive. We'll have better access. We'll have room to grow if that ever becomes an option for folks in the future. Our goal by having the administrative building and the library under the same roof, we're able to pool our resources and get a strong, nice building. Also, we have enough property that the time that the county needs to expand square footage, the library needs to expand, there's plenty of room on that property to go out to the south. So, looking strategically out into the future. I think that's
Just wanted to thank you for the explanation.
Thank you. Any other questions that spur anybody? Anybody here? Very good. Thank you so much for taking the time to come out. We'll see you next time.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.